There is one skill in life that quietly shapes how people treat you everywhere you go. Every moment, whether you're aware of it or not, this skill decides whether people will respect you or whether they'll simply overlook your presence. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in a job interview, hanging out with your friends, or speaking in a professional meeting. If you don't know how to use your words the right way, then no matter how educated you are, no matter how talented you think you might be, and no matter how much experience you have gathered, people won't see your real value. They won't take you seriously, and they definitely won't respect you the way you deserve. Think about your life carefully. You must have seen this happen many times. There's always that one person in every group who says something extremely simple, yet the whole room turns toward him. He doesn't say something extraordinary, he just expresses it in a way that commands attention. His presence naturally pulls people in. They listen to him, they consider his opinions, and they even follow his suggestions. Then there's another person, possibly you, who might be even more intelligent than him, far more knowledgeable, maybe even more hardworking. But when you speak, hardly anyone listens. People interrupt you, ignore what you say, or forget it within a few seconds. And deep inside, it hurts, because you know that you have value, but the world isn't seeing it. The only difference between these two people is communication. Not English fluency, not a fancy vocabulary, not a deep voice, just communication. And communication is not something optional or something only leaders need. It's something every single human being needs. Whether you're a student studying in a small town, a mechanic working in a garage, a manager handling a team, or a founder trying to build a startup, communication is the foundation of how humans connect. It's how you make people understand you, how you make them feel your presence, and how you build trust. Many people misunderstand communication. They think communication simply means speaking clearly or using good words. But communication is far beyond that. Communication is how you make the other person feel. It's the energy behind your words, the emotion behind your message, and the intention behind your conversations. If you want people to stop ignoring you, if you want your words to carry weight, if you want your personality to naturally stand out, then communication is the one skill you must master sooner or later. There comes a moment in everyone's life when they speak their heart out to someone, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, maybe a partner. You finally gather courage to express something that's been bothering you, something personal, something emotional. But before you even finish, the other person replies in 5 seconds. Forget it, bro. Don't overthink. Everything will be fine. That single line, instead of comforting you, makes you feel worse. It feels like your emotions were dismissed, like your thoughts didn't matter, and it's natural to feel bad. But the question is, whose fault is it? Theirs or yours? You might think it is their fault because they didn't give you the response you wanted. But in reality, the mistake is yours. This is one of the biggest communication mistakes people make. They assume the other person understands them, even when they don't communicate in a way that invites understanding. Imagine going to a shop. You step inside and the salesman immediately bombards you with his own pitch, without even asking what you actually need. Will you buy from that shop? Of course not. Will you ever return to that shop? Never, because in today's world, every human craves one thing: being heard. People want someone to listen, someone who genuinely tries to understand them. But most of us are so busy speaking that we never learn how to listen. And here's the truth. Understanding someone isn't a skill, it's a mindset. It's not about having intelligence, it's about having intelligence. Understanding requires patience, emotional openness, and a willingness to temporarily put your own thoughts aside. The problem is not what people say. The real problem is that nobody listens long enough for the meaning to come through. But when you give someone your full attention, when you listen without interrupting, without judging, their heart naturally opens. That's where communication truly begins. Respect doesn't come from speaking loudly or using big words. Respect comes from making people feel understood. If you want to build strong communication, then the first step is simple. Keep your ego aside before you speak. You don't always need to respond immediately. You don't always need to prove your point. First listen to understand, not to reply. Pay attention to the tone of the person, their expressions, their body language, and even their silence. People rarely express everything openly. Their real pain, their real struggle, their real emotion often hides between their words. Once you start noticing these subtle things, you begin to understand people on a deeper level, not just through words but through feelings. This skill doesn't only help in emotional conversations, it's equally powerful in professional situations. A leader who listens well is respected. A manager who understands his team communicates better. A student who listens attentively learns faster. And a friend who listens deeply becomes irreplaceable. Remember this: your words will only be powerful when they come from a place of understanding. But modern life has created a big problem. Today, everyone is multitasking. Someone talks to you while you scroll your phone. A friend shares something important while you watch TV in the background. A family member tries to explain something while your mind is lost somewhere else. And we reply casually, "Yeah, I'm listening," but that's not listening. True listening requires your mind and heart together. When you're distracted, you only hear the sounds, not the feelings, and the other person can sense it instantly. They feel your disinterest, and they stop sharing. The connection slowly breaks. The solution is extremely simple. When someone speaks to you, give them your full presence. Put your phone aside. Close your laptop. Remove your earphones. Look at the person. Maintain eye contact. Observe their gestures. Listen with your heart. Being fully present for just one moment can strengthen trust, but breaking trust even once can take years to repair. So if you want to transform your communication instantly, eliminate distractions. When you give someone your presence, your conversation becomes meaningful. Another powerful tool in communication is appreciation. Have you ever noticed how your mood instantly lifts when someone compliments you sincerely? This is called the appreciation approach. When you start a conversation with genuine appreciation, the environment becomes warm immediately. The wall between two people drops, but the key is that your appreciation must be real. Not flattery, not formality, genuine appreciation. Imagine you're in a meeting. You start by saying, "I really liked the detailing you added in the last project," or "Your presentation style is always very engaging." This simple line shows the other person that you notice their efforts, you value their work, and you respect their contribution. Suddenly, the person becomes more comfortable with you. They pay more attention to your words. They trust you more. Appreciation is a door that opens the path to deep connection. But don't appreciate randomly. Appreciate something meaningful, someone's effort, skill, or character. When you point out something specific, the other person realizes you genuinely observe them. This increases the depth of your connection. Appreciation builds trust, and trust enhances communication. When someone trusts you, they don't just hear your words, they feel them. Communication isn't just about words. Your body speaks to you before people hear your voice. They notice your face, your posture, and your movements. If you stand with slouched shoulders, low energy, and nervous gestures, even powerful words lose their impact. But if your posture is straight, your shoulders are relaxed and open, and your movements are confident yet natural, your presence becomes strong. Body language influences both how others see you and how you feel inside. When you stand confidently, you automatically start feeling confident. When you speak, use your hands but not excessively. Your gestures should support your message, not distract from it. And the most important part, eye contact. Eye contact signals confidence, clarity, and honesty. But remember, it should be natural, not forced. Don't stare continuously. Just maintain a comfortable connection. Communication is not about showing attitude. Confident communication means your voice, your words, and your body are all aligned. They must send the same message. I believe in what I'm saying, and I respect what you're saying too. One of the most underrated aspects of communication is voice modulation. A single sentence can create 10 different impacts depending on how you say it. That's why understanding tone, pitch, and delivery is crucial. Your tone reveals your emotional state. If you're angry or irritated, your voice becomes sharp. If you're calm, it becomes soft. Choosing the right tone ensures your message isn't misunderstood. Pitch means how high or low your voice sounds. If you speak in the same pitch continuously, the listener gets bored. Slight variations keep the listener engaged and make your message memorable. And then comes delivery. Delivery is how you present your message. Pausing at the right moments, emphasizing important words, speaking with clarity, these small techniques can drastically increase your impact. People don't just listen to what you say, they feel how you say it. When your tone, pitch, and delivery are balanced, your words stick in people's minds. They remember you not because of what you said, but because of how you made them feel. These principles can dramatically improve your communication skills if you practice them consistently. Communication is not a talent, it's a skill. And like any skill, it grows with effort. If you master these principles, your presence will change, your conversations will change, and your relationships will change. If you've understood everything up to this point, then you now know something many people never figure out in their entire life. Communication is the most powerful tool a human can have. It can build trust, strengthen relationships, open opportunities, remove misunderstandings, and elevate your personality in ways you cannot imagine. If you're truly ready to transform the way you communicate, then this is your moment. Let's begin.